Hey, okay, now we go. Okay, guys, so we are live. Now I managed to make it live here at LinkedIn, and thank you for joining today. I'm gonna close myself over on the other screen so I don't see myself with a lag. But if you do have questions on LinkedIn, don't feel hesitant to ask as we go along. So I want to mention a couple of things about myself now that we go live here. My name is Jesper. I'm the founder at Salestools, exact visitor. I've been doing sales outreach and acceleration platform since 2014. In fact, we're the first product on LinkedIn to do sales automations, data gathering from LinkedIn, and allow people to actually do outreach on LinkedIn. So we created that entire market, which has been quite impressive growth journey for us. What I'm going to share with you today is a lot of the things we've been learning. So one thing we want to emphasize with you right now is how do you do social selling, and not in the typical way that you might be thinking about. And if I'm a little bit red in my head, it's because I was running from the Uber to get back into the office. I went to some event with my children's kindergarten at the end of the year, and got quite delayed in traffic, but I made it here in time. So let's get started, okay? And if you have questions, do not hesitate to ask them as we move along. This is also being streamed on YouTube on a separate link to customers. So we have a few people, not so many on LinkedIn, but there's a lot of people on other channels. And I will actually pay attention to the comments if somebody asks something as we go live. So let's start, okay? So right now, you should be able to see some slides here. So we're going to talk about the modern social selling guide, how to learn the secret tools and the methodology to connect and network with anyone. See, networking today is becoming commodity, especially since COVID. It's been harder and harder. It's been easier and easier to email, and AI enable a lot of good and bad things. If it's implemented right, you can really make a difference. If it's not, then it becomes very, very difficult because there's poor implementation. So we're going to talk about that. So let's start here. What's the typical problem we solve? Well, we want to help you have a solution for your low reply rate. We want to help you engage in conversation with leads. And typically, if you're reaching out to industry experts to C-level, they get a lot of requests. So you want to make sure they know who you are before you talk to them. We want to help you get your brand out there, but also engage with high intent leads. So how do you do that? Well, it's something we're going to talk about now. So we built actually an action plan here, which I call the methodology. So how can you generate your own demand? And how do you take it one step at a time so everybody can do it in a simple way? So part one, we're building this out to an academy. So this is going to be a longer free course for all customers and sales tools. You can go in and see more about it in a couple of days. But we want to help individuals in their own mission to implement their own social selling playbook. Or if you're a CMO, you can do it for your team. But we taking it a bit further. So if you listen to all these agencies or influencers out there, they will talk about how you should post on LinkedIn. See, that's great to build some brand recognition. But I do believe if you want to get the traction of who is buying from you, you're also going to engage with them. So you're going to engage in public and sell in private. I'm going to show you today how you're going to do that. So you should think about, why should you start with social selling? Well, it's about making connections. It's not really advertising or promoting, right? It's really about your network. Without your network, you don't have a net worth, right? It's not sharing your leadership or company post. So if you're an employee, you don't need to retweet your company post or actually promote it. You want to put in your own tone of voice to it. You want to take notes and questions and make objections to people, so you can use them in private later, so you can engage with them. See, a lot of people post a lot of questions, they post a lot of things. I'm going to walk you over a few things that you can learn from a guy that became very famous. He has very simple selling style, Alex Amosi. But I'm going to walk through a couple of things he talks about later in this webinar as well. Because sometimes simplicity actually works. See, if you have something complex you're communicating about, not everybody will understand what you're selling unless they're really a core ICP. So simple words is often something you want to really embrace. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit background, a little bit more light here in the room, so it's more bright for all of you. Okay, so let's move forward. I have a couple of slides here, and then we get into to a little bit more fun. I'm going to show you a live workshop in the end. And again, we do get questions, but I'm going to take them a little bit later. So the whole notion is when you're reaching out, if you do traditional cold outreach today, you've seen that cold emails, the reply rates are plummeting. It's also plummeting on LinkedIn because everybody is using some pure implementation of automation that is not relevant to the buyer. And it really comes down to a lot of people that either follow some influencer agency advice, which often is just spray and pray. I don't believe in that. See, I believe you really should get in to understand who is your ICP. You should divide that into personas. Luckily, I prepared how you do that today. So we get to that now. So, what is the number one rule you have to remember when you engage socially on LinkedIn? You need to be resourceful to the people like you're talking to them in real life. You don't need to be a bully. You don't need to be a show off. You don't need to be a smartass. You need to be resourceful. People like resourceful people, people that help you, people that respect. And think about you meet somebody in real life. You want to act the same way online. So here's three foundation keys. One, first key, you got to build credibility. Without credibility, you don't have trust. And then your worth is not going to be what people listen to. So how can we do that? Well, you're going to keep the spotlight on your credibility in every activity you comment or post. So you're really going to keep a very, very firm line of what you're doing and how you do it. You don't want to compromise your credibility, but you want to add three activities we're going to go over now to spotlight how your credibility can strive. See, my colleagues, he prepared the slide for me. If the persona you're looking to connect on social works as sales and your offering is coaching services, walk them through how you close the deal after 57 days. Show them the steps and strategies you apply. Give them a snapshot of a discovery called questions, objection sheet, sales battle card, something that they can relate to. See, that gives instant credibility instead of just posting. I closed the deal in 57 days. Yahoo, I'm the best. See, if you're actually proving credibility, proving the path you're going there without giving away your whole offering or your whole product or your secret sauce, then people believe you really know what you're talking about. So it's really simple. If you're a venture capitalist, your results speaks for themselves in the end of the fund. That's why often LPs, the limited partners who invest in a VC fund or a private equity fund, they look at, well, how did your previous funds do? So if you're early on, you're going to have either a strong background in finance or the industry, or you're going to be an incredible founder, so you build up credibility. Just posting is not enough there. So you're going to show that you know what you're talking about. Don't be a salesperson 3 months in a job and say, now I'm going to be the best sales coach out there. That's not the real credibility. When you show that you really have done it over and over again, that's when you start building it up. So let's go forward. So the next here is if you're compromised, meaning you didn't do well, you're not building your credibility. You post something like another deal closed, boom, best week ever. Our sales coach really make us win 2x more deals. Wondering how, DM me. You don't feel like engaging into this. What you feel like engaging in with is somebody who built credibility. So another deal closed, boom, best week ever. Wondering why? Yeah, I do. I want to know why, right? Our sales coach trains with us in the best tools and start winning deals. No more ramp up for 100 days. Okay, I'm a sales leader. At a lower ramp up days means we can sell faster and higher. That sounds interesting, right? Q1 is almost over and we're 150% over quota. Okay, if you back that up, I think I will hire you, right? I'm not bragging about it, but I wish I had this in past company. I'm wondering how. Love to help as many folks. Why I got this job in the first place, right? So you're leaning into that, and you can go much more deeper, in my opinion. So here is a couple of posts here, just to showcase it for you. And when we look into that, you'll notice that there are two examples here. And you'll see a compromised one where it's more bragging versus one where, again, he's building credibility. And I think they go without saying in this example. Let me just, in my streaming here, I actually cannot see it in a big one. So I'm just going to bring the same slide up internally on the computer so I can walk you through that a little bit more in depth. So give me 1 second. So if you look at Joss, looking for something to read with your ramen, mull over with a multi-deal, scrutinize with shawarma, terrible puns, great insight. See, this is what I call edutainment, and I'm going to come into that. That's a compromised post. He's really not promising anything. While if you look at Alexine, seeing a lot of content drag lately, dodging A's and SDRs. For some reason, you don't see the slides, so I do apologize. So let me just get those up, guys. Thank you for letting me know. So how do I change? Okay, I never used the streaming platform before, so let me just see here if I can change the slides up. It's the first time we run it directly on LinkedIn. So I do apologize for that. Let me just see here if I can get the slides over. There we go. You should be able to see them right now. So what I showed earlier was very simple. Let me just see. I have a small delay on the screen. There we go. Good. You see them. Good. So we're just going to take it from the top right away. I went over what's the typical problem we solve, low reply rates, engaging conversation with lead, and so on and so forth. So the action plan and methodology. Here's about why do you want to start. So again, let me just so you have some slides on it. It's truly about making connection. It's not advertising. It's not sharing a leadership or company post. It is to help people in public, first and after in private on discovery calls and demos and proposal. You want to take notes so you know how to deal with objections and write almost the exact same words they use. See, when you're using the same tonality as the person you're reaching out to, you are actually communicating with them in a way that relates to them, and you want to be relatable. You want to focus on taking informed questions and create content based on what you also experience when you're posting yourself. That's going to help you. Okay. So you want to be resourceful. We went over that. 3 foundation keys. You want to build credibility. We talked about that, and what we got to was here. I'm going to show one example of a compromised versus a credible post. So let's take them real life. So I'm going to talk about those right now. So you will see 2 examples here of a compromised. Joss, you see on the left, and I do apologize to mess up with the post here. We don't do that next time, but LinkedIn Live, you're going to find a streaming platform to push it out, and this is the outcome when you do it the first time this way. So anyway, so Joss here, he's saying a lot of buzzwords, a lot of puns, but without insights. And it's like, why would I click on this Deloitte article from Deloitte Digital or research? It doesn't dive in, right? He doesn't say what he learned. He clearly showed he never read it, which for me is a lazy post, right? While Alexine on the right side, seeing a lot of content lately, dodging A's and SDRs, the messaging sucks, the outreach will never work on me, immediate unsubscribe. Unless every single cold call, email, and LinkedIn message you ever seen is absolutely perfection carrying through rocks and glass. Right now is probably one of the absolutely hardest times to be an ideal customer in sales. Budget slashed, lack of job security, constant scrutiny. I love to see more posts celebrating killer messaging and innovating prospect techniques. Let's punch down and more lifting up. See, she's trying to say, let's celebrate the good things instead of complaining online. So she's building credibility that you should listen to her. She's not here complaining. She's here turning the parameters around. So she's building immediate credibility for herself, which is quite brilliant. So you want to think about how can you do that and what you're doing. So this slide is taken from Alex Hamosi. So this is actually from his content, and I want to he runs a company called acquisition.com, and really what Alex Homosi is talking about, and he's a fitness guy. He wrote a book called $100 Million Leads. I haven't read it, to be frank. I did listen to it on happylife.ai, which is incredible. They got the summary in 15 minutes. But what he talked about is what people consume on social. It's either pure entertainment, Mr. Beast style, like something wasting your time, edutainment where it's fun and you learn a little bit, and pure education. So Alex Amosi has millions of followers. He does incredibly well. He tested entertainment, edutainment, education. He started out in edutainment, and he realized his core focus is acquiring and investing in small businesses and taking them to the next level. In order to get there with his audience following, he got the highest quality of revenue per mile on YouTube, but also qualified leads when he did education content. So he got less viewers, but a higher outcome by focusing on exactly what he should do. And I want you to think about that when you engage on LinkedIn. How can you focus on education instead of edutainment? And this is a perfect example I'm going to show you here. So I have two examples here of exactly so. Linus is scaling a fintech startup. He's writing edutainment every single day. He has 500,000 followers on LinkedIn, but he never write anything that actually you can learn from. He's just trying to get reach, but it's never about his company. He just want to be an influencer to get paid on his Substack, which is an interesting perspective. If you're B2B sales, that doesn't really work for you. If you're solving a problem, want to connect with buyers. So I take this guy, Eric. He's an outbound sales strategist. He's promoting one of our competitors, but I thought he's a good example because the guy, he doesn't have so many followership, but every single day he's trying to post something valuable about one of our competitors as an influencer, as an agency, but he's always giving value. He's giving away some actually good templates. He's giving away some good flows, how you can do things. He's always giving value to somebody else. That's education. So he's building up a voice. So when you talk with somebody, you know who he is. So this is a very, very important point. Do you want to be edutainment and somebody with mass reach, but no real value? It might work if you're a venture capitalist and once in a while you want to reach when you post in your portfolio companies and you get a lot of reach, but it's not the type of people who will buy from you. While when you keep educating the market, you get the real valuable people who will buy, who see your solution, your reach will be lower, but you get the right people that will buy from you, your ICP. So I will always go the education route. So with that being said, let's get to the second step here. So the second key in everything we do here is you want to go over your prospects' top priorities and question when you do research and show your results. You want to break down examples of how you help people like them to succeed. So, for example, you work with a CMO to create demand generation. You put out a complete go-to-market strategy of what you're communicating. And I'm going to showcase a Danish company, Dream Data here. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples why I think they've done really well. I will also give a shout out to Drift in the old days. They took this LinkedIn takeover where they launched something. The whole team got aligned, and you couldn't miss them every Tuesday when they had a new launch. They were everywhere. And Gong kind of copied that strategy, and Dream Data have been trying that. I'm from Denmark, so I'm highlighting a Danish company in this example. So let's get to the next slide, and then I'll give you a couple of examples how they are aligned. So this is Laura. Laura, she became a little bit famous on LinkedIn because she keeps talking about, so Dream Data sells some marketing attribution. It's not a must-have. It's not something you need. It's vitamin. So it's really hard to drive demand generation, lead generation, new leads in your pipeline. You got to constantly tell a story. So you see Stefan and Laura on the first slide. So they try to build this combination between marketing and sales because that's the buyer. So they align through everything they do around the product. And I think they do that incredibly well. However, Dream Data is 2.1 million annual recurring revenue. I think they're 2.4 right now. Last year, they burned 5 million to add 1 million annual recurring revenue. And it's primarily driven from the activities and social selling. So you can see they spend a lot of money because it's a vitamin product, but they executed the strategy incredibly well. While other companies, they can drive a lot more revenue at a way less cost and doesn't need a ton of venture money. But they have done well, and this is where you see the CMO set a strategy, the entire team get behind it, and it snowballs. So let's get further. The third key you want to focus on is how do you build relationship fast with your prospect at their own speed. You don't want to burn bridges. So what you see all the time on LinkedIn is when somebody come and join you, or you actually reach out to them, you get what I call a pitch slap, right? So with a pitch slap, you accept somebody, and within 2 seconds, the automation said, we do XYZ programming for you. And I get them quite often. And when you write back, they did zero research, they didn't read your post, there's zero personalization, there's zero engagement socially. You just get pitch slapped because this is what they've been taught to do, and they're lazy. And see, that is becoming harder and harder. So you got to change your strategy. You don't want to be one of those 9 out of 10 emails, a LinkedIn request where you don't provide any value, because my rule of thumb in sales is you should always think about, if I receive this email, LinkedIn request, what will I do? If I'm that person, that role. So if you're going to understand that, you can change the game. And then you can really dive into how you should do it. And it's so crucial you get that right. So here's an example. This is actually done by Salestools, okay? This is not written by Loredana. This is the AI model. So Loredana, she put in a bunch of people that she likes or follow that she want to sell to. And this was actually just a demonstration purpose. It automatically read Mark Kozuglov's post and commented back. And what's funny is if you see Joe Rowley, she's been like a big person early on in social selling. She started actually promoting herself in Nearbound, which is a company she advised, which she's a big advocate. You can't do. So it's kind of cynical, right? So that you can see she doesn't have the same voice anymore because she started actually going around, but they're best friends. So you see they have this part going on. Now you see on the right side, again, the AI model at Salestools. I subscribed to a bunch of potential leads. I believe this is somebody running growth at a SaaS company. For her privacy, I hide it out because we have a conversation. But our platform read again the post, came back with something valuable, and you can see this individual. Thanks, check your profile, just connected to you. I want to learn how you run social selling. You've been rocking it. So not only was it helpful in public, but I actually create a new lead and a new customer by using our own, drinking our own champagne, as one of our salespeople called it. Not eating our own dog food, we drink our own champagne. So let's come to something important, okay? Let's get back to it, guys. So here is the checklist. What you want to prepare, how you start today, and then we're going to come into how you actually implement it. So first, you want to prepare an account list you're targeting, max 1,000 companies. Why do you want to do that? Well, you're not just selling to individuals. Well, somebody would say you are, but the company in the end of the day is the one that need the need and the individual within it. Then within those companies, you're going to create the lead list. You're going to decide per persona, department, location, because I learned this in 2016 as we were growing. In 2016, no, actually 15, we landed Marketo as a client. And even though they were sitting for EMEA as the client, that decision had to go through, I believe, not San Francisco, somewhere south there in the Bay Area. They had to decide if they could sign in EMEA for the contract, which then was sent to somebody else, but they signed. And that's how we got Marketo as a customer running on Salestools. So you got to think about these things when you do sales. If you sell to a particular market, where is the decision making done? Now, are the new executives in those accounts? Because often maybe they want new tools or previous tools that somebody you have a relation with that speeds up the sales cycle. Are the influencers within the company can drive the conversation to your persona, ICP, or somebody outside? Are the leads connected already in your account that works for these accounts, so you can start searching my first level connection to engage with them in public, and then after have a conversation automatically on LinkedIn? Do you have incurred one accounts that change job or within the same jobs? So you're going to map out in those one accounts you have closed one. And then are the sellers in the same markets or in different pains to similar personas and ICP? So the plan is, after you prepare, you're going to start using Salestools to comment with others. Check your lead list. So I'm showing you how to set them up. Let the system check for post and reach out. Then you're going to personally write post about the problem you're solving for those leads in that period on LinkedIn. So once you're connected, once they start seeing you are actually an influence voice, you're being credible within that field, because you're not just posting, I won this deal. No. Here's the breakdown. I did all these activities to get this outcome. And this is how I did it. If you were selling sales software, if it's something else, you're going to write them to that. And you're going to keep posting about it. That's why I mentioned Dream Data. They keep talking about attribution in so many angles that at some point, people, they believe they need it. So they are really good at the marketing funnel to make people believe they need a vitamin product that is not a must for you. So that's a good example of using this channel the right way. Now, make awareness through a story of your product's feature from your experience of doing these results. And then coming with others, check signals, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to send these slides after so you have them. But let's see here how we do it in Sales Navigator. So we're going to start out by having a list of targeted accounts. So you put in those accounts, then you build in list 2. Lead list by persona. So for example, these are, in this example, the vice presidents of sales. These are decision makers in list 2. List 3, now we're talking about selling sales tools, right? Those can be either account executive or another level of executives that are in this example, and so on and so forth. So you can map it out in different layers. Now, list 4 are influencers in the accounts. List 5 are leads connected, no engagement, for example. So you can have different types. And then you have like existing customers or end users. So you're going to build up different lists, different strategies, different way of reaching out, but in the same accounts. Why do you want to do that? Well, again, I learned that from Marketo. See, Marketo, they were reaching out to Louis Vuitton Group in France, to one of their subsidiaries to get them to use Marketo as a marketing automation. And I talked to them about the entire process. And they didn't reach out just to 2 guys, which most startups do, or 1 guy with 1 email. They reach out to 60 individuals through a sequence of 10 emails. Now, most influencers and agencies will say you don't do that because they charge on the volume they do. So they prefer to send less emails because then they can reach more people. I prefer to send fewer landing in the mailbox, but to have more touches on my ICP because my deal volume goes up and my reply rate goes higher, my deliverability improves if it's all emails. So sometimes you're going to take what you hear with a grain of salt and get it straight from the source, right? So now, for example, here are some different lists. You can look at sellers in the same market solving different pains. So people are talking about your product so you can get them to communicate around you. And decision makers in one account, so you also can engage with them, because in the end of the day, you want to make them aware you still exist. So you have different type of communication going on LinkedIn. Because in the end of the day, you truly want to have a multiple approach. You want to keep your customers happy, open doors to new accounts, and so on and so forth. The good part is, in a few seconds, we're going to show you how to do that. And that's the most exciting part instead of seeing slides, which I don't always like to do. But let's go in and talk, before we do that, about common bad practices. So one is automating your interactions. Your interactions should be unique, just like your prospects are. So if you use the standard inferior tools out there that copy basically parts of a video sales tools, like, I don't know, Expandy, who claims to be safe, but they're not, or whatever they call lead something, I will steer away from them, because they will just push through the same template. The thing is, you need an individual communication approach for every single person you're talking to. You gotta be individual. So when you're commenting on LinkedIn, don't use some inferior AI product, some of these text expanders that sit in your browser that just make a standard comment. You want to have a highly trained AI model that do it for you. And I'm going to, again, show you how to do that as we go along. But this is more high practical right now. Don't share your company blogs and company news unless it's something extraordinary. Rewrite it. Nobody are following companies these days on social. They're following individuals. That's why influencers became a thing. People want your personal perspective of everything what happens. They don't want the CMO's perspective, which is like some corporate legal written mumbo jumbo, I will almost say. So have everybody to take their own approach to it. It's super important. Don't act like a sales rep in everything you do. Provide value. Don't try to sell them. That's another thing that is so important. Share a great story, how you helped the CMO, how you helped the customer with the outcome they did. Give away credibility. Don't say, I'm the best salesperson in the world, outbound instead, I don't do this, I don't do that. Sell your little vision. No, say, here is how this can complement some. Here's how this can complement these customers. Be resourceful. I cannot strike that out enough. Super important, guys. Don't ask for a meeting immediately after you're connecting. I think I can make some references to that in real life, right? You really don't want to do that. And a couple of reasons that is. Nobody likes to be sold to out of the get-go, unless you have something so extraordinary that is solving such a big pain and such a good opportunity right now that everybody can relate to it in your ICP. Maybe you can go straight to getting a meeting. Otherwise, you're gonna go through and share a story. Okay. Don't publish polls on LinkedIn. There's probably a typo here, not pools, polls. Don't endorse recklessly. Don't endorse everybody. Giving endorsement doesn't do anything. If people endorse my LinkedIn profile, my head tells me they want to sell to me, so I completely ignore it. It doesn't matter to me if somebody said I'm an expert in leadership or outbound. It doesn't change my life. What changed my life is the outcome I do for my customers every single day. Endorsements, it's again, maybe it's great to endorse a student or somebody in an internship because they feel very proud about it. If that's your target group, perhaps it's working, but for the rest, if you do it to VP of sales, he probably think you missed the mark because that wouldn't change or break it for him. Now, you want to test your own power to build social selling skills. So what you're going to ask yourself, and it's more an exercise you can do later, will you build more credibility with buyers by commenting on a post related to your buyers and other related problems in your space, or a company post about the latest events? And obviously, I hope you answered A. Will you be more credible with buyers by posting about, I'm sharing now how I help other VP of sales in the largest in growing companies, or I'm self-promoting by putting in spotlights the customers? And again, you want to go with A because you're highlighting somebody else. If you want to do some of these things, I will show you now how you do that in real life on our platform here at Salestools. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. And now let's see here if it did get shared. Amazing. So I'm doing something right. Okay. I'm probably not going to share it so much. So just give me a second, adjust it here. So now let's go ahead. So you see my screen right now, which is great. So this is when you log into Salestools. Very simple. What I'm going to show you now is what I talked a bit about is Sales Navigator. You want to use Sales Navigator, and I give you a lot of reasons why. You have high limits to reach out on LinkedIn, but you can do social selling at scale. So what we went over is you want to create an account list of companies you want to reach out to. This is crucial. So we're going to make it very simple here. Let's say you're targeting 11 to 50 employees. I want people that had a growth between 5 to 4 to let's say 100%, and then you can say I want to actually in sales, right? Instead of here. So I reset that, and then I put department headcount growth between 5 and 50% in sales, if that's what I'm selling to. So I don't care about companies that are not growing because they don't have a growth mindset, as an example. Or I want companies that decline in sales because I want to make the salespeople more efficient with our upcoming AI, SDR, and AGI for sales. As an example, so you can do different ways. So you're going to add all the filters you have. You're going to create a list, and then you open that list, and then you hit view current employees. So you target precisely those companies. Now, when you've done that, you're going to start going into building up your persona. So two things I like to do is to go in and see who posted on LinkedIn. See, about 10% of LinkedIn members are posting. The rest are not. But the ones that are posting, it opens a golden opportunity for you to connect in public and automatically connect to them private. And I'm going to show you that. So what you want to start doing is really, really, really simple. You want to put in the job title, for example, VP Sales. So this is decision maker, right? So I put Vice President of Sales, CRO, Chief Revenue Officer, and so on and so forth. So it was there, Chief Revenue Officer included. Now, these companies are probably too small to have any of those titles. I'm used to do it on larger account, but I think you understand the point. So let's say the perfect filters for there, and I was targeting these individuals. Then I say save to list, and I create a new list, and I call it webinar LinkedIn. Now, I can go to the second page, and then I go again, and then I save to this webinar LinkedIn list. And then when I'm done with the list, I create a new list, and then I change the job titles in these companies, and I look for the influencer, and then, for example, somebody else. So I make different type of people I'm reaching out to. Once I'm done with that, I got my lead list. I go here. Now I have 50 people. Amazing. Then I'm going to go back to Salestools, and I'm going to go into what we call social selling. In social selling, I can create a new list called webinar LinkedIn. I put in the link right here. Then I'm going to say, how do I want to engage with the individual? This is super important. So my favorite thing is to ask a question. And it comes to an example, how it look like, and some generic question here. How do you balance in-depth discovery, maintaining momentum, avoiding overwhelming the prospect with questions? So this is obviously something that was a post about sales we have here, but it gives you an example of how it looked like. Now, you can turn on advanced AI. This simply means that the system will automatically do the commenting every time somebody in this list is posting. It will monitor and look for them every 24 hours. And on the first comment, what's going to happen? You add them to an automation. So if you do that, well, amazing. Then you hit start social selling and start. I'm not going to hit that right now because I don't need to run this list. But here's an example. So let me see here. I'm just going to hit up something that I've been running in as an example. So load them in here. So Terry Ford, he posted 11 days ago. See, some of these people don't post all the time, but I'm monitoring every 24 hours who posted. So he posted another level Monday. You can have more than you can, because you become who you are. So it will actually comment back if I hit here, comment. What steps have you taken to continue growing and becoming more than you currently are? Your dedication to self-improvement is truly inspiring. Let's just hit comment, that's spot on. Now, in a couple of minutes, that is live on LinkedIn. You can go to my profile, you can see who I comment on, you will see this comment. So I urge you to do that. Now, here's another one. I don't want to comment there, so just hit skip, right? I just skip him. Now, the next person posted 3 days ago, what was your favorite part of event? That was the name of the event, right? The show. Sound like Hove had a great time. So again, I'm actually going for engagement here. A lot of these individuals are engaging. And if you notice up here, social selling follow-up, our system is going to add them into an outbound funnel right now. So I'm going to show you how that looks like. So once the comment happened, I have so many examples here. I'm going to show you how it looks like, right? So it's sitting in my contacts. It waits. I can change the timing if I want, but it waits 2 days from the comment. Then it using AI to use that post again to write a connection request. We're mentioning the post. And when you do that, and again, this is from the crawl to this part is fully automated. It's one click, or you can make it 100% automated. It's relevant and has a 90% acceptance rate. So imagine you can reach 40 people on LinkedIn a day doing connection requests. And the industry average when you use inferior platforms is 10% acceptance rate. That means you're connecting 4 people a day. Imagine you do it right, and now you're reaching a 90% rate. That is a big change because now I can have access to get more details on the phone number. I can write them LinkedIn messages. And again, all I have to do is either press start or simply review just the screen we had before I'm sending. Once it comment, the automatically rolled over here. Get the LinkedIn connection request. 2 days later, it sends a message that is relevant to them. And I could add, if I wanted, I could add emails, auto visit, and things like that. I do like with emails, but this was a pure LinkedIn campaign I was running here. So it takes over there, but you can do multi-channel. And again, if you do emails, you can use the AI model to take in as an icebreaker the latest LinkedIn post, which all of them had because they came in this way. This is the brilliance of actually from Salestools, right? So imagine you comment on somebody who doesn't respond to you. Okay, now they know who Jesper is. Great. I like Jesper. He had a good question. I'm going to accept you. Now you get an email saying, hey, thank you for posting this on LinkedIn. As I mentioned, LinkedIn had a couple of questions, but this is really why I reached out. See, the person read this email. He's going to read the whole email. If you're offering a strong, you're building connection, you are going to build a connection. And now you can turn that one around to make a demo. In fact, we do this every day, and this is the number one driver of new inbound for us. Okay. Now, with all this being said, there's a few more things. I took some screenshots I used yesterday where I was not giving away all our visitors, but there are some things you can do with the platform, and I didn't want to give away. Let me just see if I can find it here. Away everything, but essentially you are able, if you put the tracking script on your website, you're able to see who came to that website of yours. And for example, if somebody comes from LinkedIn because they see your post and visit anonymously your website, you can know precisely who the person is. This is again the technology we invented in 2018, so it has been around for quite some time. But the value is, if you're sitting here, it's sit-in visitors. This batch have our live visitors, so I'm not going to show that. But you click on visitors, you can see the company, you can see the person that haven't filled the form yet, haven't spoken to you. And you can actually build an entire automation around that. So I can say, when somebody comes to the website, send them a LinkedIn connection request, send them an email. This runs 5 minutes after the visit. It kicks in, it's fully automated. So this is how you build outbound at scale. And again, if the post is something LinkedIn, you can comment on it. So you're building a full sales cycle without implementing 20 tools like Clay that then put this together, this together, this together, and drag and drop and left and right. And this is built out to make your life easy. A very fair price, starting at $99 a month. Then you get everything you've seen today. You also have, when you build automations, and I want to show you that. So we have something called one-to-one. It's basically the same here. It's Copilot, right? So if you build an automation instead of social selling, you have the same view. You see your campaigns. You can review it before if you don't want to go full with AI. And you can see all the communication going out here. That's another example. But this is my daily social selling. So I'm reviewing if this is actually relevant. And I just go through, okay. Now I'm saving a lot of these for demos, so I don't comment all of them. But for example, he's a coach, so he's not in my buying segment, so we leave him. He's a founder and CEO. This was posted 3 days ago, so let's just engage. I'm going to tell you a secret when we do this. A lot of these individuals are not very popular on LinkedIn, but they're posting. They took the courage. It's hard to start posting. Often we are the first or second or only person to comment. and they remember us. And when they start seeing how we do it, they learn about it. They want the demo. They want to do it themselves. They're starting doing exactly what I'm teaching you today. This is how you grab the attention without being intruding into somebody, without disturbing them. You're making a friend. You're making a relationship. You are doing real sales. So this is so crucial to get right. Okay, good. Perfect. We don't have any comments running here. I just want to see how that looked like. We don't have any other channels. So this is perfect. So that's social selling. So again, imagine somebody comes to your website today. They go through the funnel and you are simply able to see who they are. You can communicate with them on LinkedIn and so on and so forth. And I think I just found the video that I shared a couple of days ago. So I will just open it as a video and find a screenshot. So you see me right here. It's always nice to see yourself, right? So this was about social selling. Let me see, I did this one yesterday, I believe. For me, this is really, really crucial that you know precisely the person that comes after, because this is ending the sales cycle for you. It's going full circle right now. And that is a completely game changer. Okay, I can't find exactly the screenshot I wanted, but that's okay. If you actually make an account Salestools, you can install the visitor tracker, and then you can start just seeing the people that come to your website and auto engage with them. I mean, it's really, really simple. So you have automations, Copilot on what we call one-to-one automations. Basically, I can show you how you set those up today. So you go in and build an automation from scratch. You take the link from Sales Navigator. If you want to review them before you go here, if you want full automated AI, you just click this button and now it does the research on the prospect. You don't need to connect third-party tools. So you wait 2 minutes, it's going to crawl the entire profile. The AI model to run, you put 2 minutes. And basically after that, it always put days. So we just change the actions. Then we do a connection request based on AI. So for example, we do an icebreaker where we use the recent post. We do an icebreaker. There's a fallback always. If they have a post, then we go into that or the bio and so on and so forth. And then another thing I forgot to mention, you do it in any language. So if you're selling to Switzerland, you want to do it in Swiss German, it's going to write in Swiss German for you. You don't have to translate. So you can come out as a proficient speaker in another language. And then you just do save message and the connection request is done. Then you might want to wait 2 days or maybe an hour. You're going to do, I want to send an email. Now, one thing is we have mailbox rotation. So you can say, okay, I want to use all these emails. I turn that on. And then you can have icebreakers with AI, similar style. It's going to take something from the bio, something from them. And then you can use that after you put in, hey, first name. And then basically, right, it's super, super straightforward. All the AI model is doing it for you. You don't have to do research. Everybody's unique. And then you put in the rest of your email after those 1-2 lines. And you see the example up here on the right side. You give it a name and a subject. And again, you can put in first name and subject and the words tags. And then you just, once you're done, you hit save and so on and so forth. And you go back and build your automation. Then you build that one out, and 1,000 leads get 1,000 different connection requests tailored to them. If you added them from the social selling before, then they get rolled in here after, or you can do it vice versa. So you have full flexibility of how you're reaching out, and it's a complete game changer for you that are doing sales every day. So to wrap this up, because I've been taking 50 minutes of your time, and I'm so sorry for the slides before. Again, this is the first time I'm doing a LinkedIn live event. We normally just host it as a regular webinar, and wanted to see how this channel is going. And we decided to do it, I think, 2 days ago. So we didn't get to invite so many people as usual. But I really hope that you learned something today. In the comments, I'm going to drop the slides after. So you can take the slides, you can review them, you can implement in your company. And you get started with social selling today. You can head over to salestools.io and you get started, and it takes you a couple of minutes. All you do is to connect your LinkedIn account. That's one click. You collect your email box. If you want, you connect as many as you want and enable some rotation. So you your mail senders rotating every email, which gives you high deliverability. And you say, I want to maximum send from all of them 100 emails a day. That means you put in 20 and send 5 from each, right? Which is absolutely brilliant because you always, with the AI, you always land an inbox, but you are building a very, very strong pipeline of emails. So this is something I recommend each one of you to go out and do. To start social selling, it takes 2 minutes. It takes about half an hour to crawl, run the AI from once you started. You need sales navigator list. Think about how you define your ICP so strong because you want to do it right. Okay. So this is going to be the end of it. I really appreciate all of you showing up. I hope I provided you some value today. That was my goal. And I really hope you take what you learn and can go back and learn something about how you can do social selling at scale for your customers. Because in the end of the day, it is crucial to be helpful in public, and then you can sell in private once you make that connection. So I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Head over to Salestools now, and I drop the slides in a couple of minutes in for all of you. Thank you so much.